We live in a world that often pushes us to share everything, our thoughts, plans and dreams. There's this constant pull to be open, to let others in, and to reveal everything so we can feel seen or understood. But here's the thing, sometimes the most powerful choice is to keep parts of ourselves private. Not because we're hiding, but because we're respecting ourselves. Welcome to Stoic Trench, a space where we explore the strength in simplicity, the wisdom of self-restraint, and the power of intentional living. Here we embrace the art of keeping some things close to our hearts, understanding that privacy isn't secrecy, it's self-respect. Today, let's talk about why keeping some things to yourself is okay. Think about what makes you who you are, your experiences, pain, growth, and dreams. These are the deep, layered parts of you that can't be summed up in a quick chat or social media post. It's the strength you've built from challenges, the lessons you've learned from mistakes, and the hope you carry even when times are tough. It's natural to want to share these parts with others, but not everyone can understand or appreciate them. Imagine your depth as a quiet lake, like one tucked in the Appalachian Mountains. That lake holds treasures formed over the years. Every ripple, every storm, and every calm moment represents a piece of your journey. Not everyone has the ability to explore that lake, and that's okay. Some will see only the surface. Others might step in and quickly pull back, overwhelmed. But a few will have the patience and care to truly understand and value what lies beneath. Sometimes we think that if we explain ourselves better or share more, people will finally understand us. But not everyone is ready for that. They may still be figuring out their own story. It's not your job to make them ready. It's okay if they don't dive deep. Wanting to be understood is human. But true understanding requires a special kind of person, someone who listens without judging or trying to fix you. Sharing your deepest thoughts with someone who isn't ready can lead to misunderstandings or hurt feelings. It's like showing a colorful painting to someone who can only see black and white. They won't see the beauty you see. Respecting yourself means knowing your worth. It's realizing that your life story is a treasure, not a secret. Treasures need protection, just like the things we value most. This doesn't mean shutting people out. It means setting boundaries and sharing with those who truly respect and appreciate you. Take Alex, a teacher in Ohio. Alex has been through a lot, caring for a sick parent, starting over after a divorce, and finding peace in running along Lake Erie. Alex doesn't share everything with co-workers or casual friends. Instead, Alex saves those stories for close friends like Sarah, who has always been there through the hardest times, or Marcus, a firefighter in Colorado. He's the funny, reliable guy everyone knows. But what most don't see are the poems he writes at night, reflecting on the lives he's saved and those he couldn't. He keeps those poems private, not because he's ashamed, but because they're special to him, a part of his soul. Keeping parts of yourself private doesn't make you smaller, it makes you stronger. When you do share, it's from a place of confidence, not a need for approval. That's a powerful shift. When you stop needing others to fully understand you, you free yourself from their opinions and expectations. You don't have to change who you are to fit their view of you. You can stand in your truth, knowing that while some people might only see a small part of you, you know and value the whole. Remember, your depth isn't for everyone, and that's okay. It's a gift to be shared with care. Choose relationships where your depth is valued. Hold your story close and honor it. Not everyone is meant to dive into your depths. Let them see the surface if that's all they can handle. And trust that the right people, the ones who truly matter, will find their way to the deeper parts of you when the time is right. When you retreat into your sanctuary, you're not shutting the world out of fear, you're choosing to focus on what you need to thrive. This doesn't mean you don't care about others or that you're isolating yourself. In fact, by taking time to replenish and reflect, you become more available to the people who truly matter. A safe space helps you stay grounded, allowing you to engage with others from a place of fullness rather than dependence. Instead of pouring from an empty cup, you're able to give genuinely because you've taken the time to refill your own. In your safe space, you're also free to dream, imagine, and plan without outside influence. Sometimes, when we share our dreams too early, we risk being swayed by others' doubts, fears, or limitations. But in this private space, you can visualize your future without interference. You can think big, explore new possibilities, and entertain ideas that might seem impractical or unrealistic to others. Here, there's no need to hold back or second-guess yourself. This space belongs to you alone, and within it anything is possible. In a world that constantly craves validation from social media likes to the unspoken expectations of friends, family, or colleagues, it's easy to fall into the trap of letting approval define our story. There's something comforting about the nod of approval, the validation that says, yes, you're on the right path, but if we're not careful, we can end up living a version of our lives that's more about others' approval than our own truth. When we let approval become our compass, we lose sight of who we truly are and what we genuinely desire. We risk shaping our story based on what others want from us, not on what we want for ourselves. Approval often feels like acceptance. When people approve of our choices, it's like they're saying, "You're doing it right, but here's the thing, everyone has their own version of what right looks like." If you start basing your decisions on what others approve of, you might end up living someone else's idea of a fulfilling life, not your own. What feels right to your best friend, sibling, or mentor may not resonate with your soul. Each of us has a unique path, and only we can know what truly aligns with who we are and where we're meant to go. Think about how much energy we spend trying to please others, striving to meet their expectations, sometimes even at the expense of our own values or dreams. We might pick a career because it's what our family expects, stay in relationships because they look good from the outside, or pursue goals that don't resonate deeply with us, just to impress someone. But no amount of approval from others will fill the emptiness that comes from living out of alignment with ourselves. Approval is like a quick burst of energy. It feels good in the moment, but it doesn't sustain us in the long run. Only true self-acceptance and alignment can do that. When we let approval define our story, we often ignore our own inner voice. We let the noise of the outside world drown out the quiet truth within us. Think of your inner voice as a compass, a gentle guide that knows what you truly want and need. But the more we tune into others' opinions, the quieter that voice becomes, until we can hardly hear it at all. We lose touch with what we actually enjoy, what makes us feel alive, and what brings us joy. Our story begins to feel scripted by others, and soon we find ourselves wondering whose life we're really living. Living for approval also makes us more vulnerable to criticism. When our self-worth is tied to others' validation, we become overly sensitive to what they think. A single negative comment or disapproving look can feel devastating because we've allowed others to become the judge of our worth. Instead of feeling grounded in our own identity, we're like leaves blowing in the wind, moving in whatever direction approval or disapproval takes us. But when we define our story from within, criticism loses its power. We're able to see it for what it is, one person's perspective, not the ultimate truth about who we are or what we're capable of. There's also a risk that living for approval can make us play small. When we let others' expectations define us, we might choose paths that feel safe, paths that will be easily accepted by others, rather than the bold or unconventional paths that truly excite us. Maybe we've always wanted to start a business, pursue a creative passion, or move to a new city. But if we fear disapproval or judgment, we might hold back, convincing ourselves that our dreams are too risky or unrealistic. In doing so, we limit our potential and dim our own light. We begin to live a life of what-ifs rather than one of brave exploration. When we stop letting approval define our story, we free ourselves to explore our true purpose. Imagine the weight lifted when you're no longer bound by others' expectations. Imagine pursuing your passions, goals, and values simply because they resonate with you, not because you're trying to impress someone else. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or that you never seek advice, but it does mean you prioritize your own inner compass over the opinions of those around you. Freeing yourself from the need for approval is an act of self-trust. It's saying to yourself, I believe in my ability to make choices that are right for me. It doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes or that you'll always know exactly what to do. But it does mean you're willing to stand by your decisions. You're willing to own your story flaws, risks, uncertainties, and all because it's yours. When you trust yourself in this way, you become resilient. You no longer need the approval of others as a safety net because you've built your own sense of security from within. Our lives become infinitely richer when we stop living for approval. We start attracting relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with who we truly are, rather than who we think we should be. We find ourselves in the company of people who appreciate us for our authentic selves, not for the roles we play to keep them happy. We gain the courage to take risks, try new things, and pursue dreams that might not make sense to anyone else but us. And in doing so, we live a story that is genuine, a story that feels like our own. So let's release ourselves from the need for approval. Let's take back our power and tell a story that comes from our own heart. Let's dare to live in a way that feels right for us, even if it doesn't make sense to everyone else. Because in the end, the only person who truly needs to approve of your life is you. Approval from others may come and go, but the satisfaction of living a life that feels true and meaningful to you is something that no one can take away. Don't let approval define your story. Let your heart, your dreams, and your values do that. Let them guide you toward a life that, while maybe unconventional or unexpected, is uniquely yours. And remember, there is no greater freedom than living a life where your story is shaped not by the applause of others, but by the quiet contentment of knowing you stayed true to yourself. Thoughtful and intentional silence teaches us patience, an invaluable quality that helps us respond to life's challenges with grace rather than haste. Consider moments when you felt overwhelmed, perhaps by a difficult conversation, an unexpected setback, or an emotional conflict. In these times, our first impulse might be to jump into action to solve the problem immediately. However, sometimes the best thing we can do is to sit with our feelings in silence. By embracing silence, we give ourselves permission to fully experience and understand our emotions rather than pushing them away or trying to fix them too quickly. In this quiet space, we often find surprising strength, a resilience rooted not in fighting or resisting, but in acceptance and understanding. Silence becomes a pathway to self-awareness, allowing us to hear our own inner voice, which often gets drowned out by the noise of others' expectations and judgments. In a world that constantly tells us who to be, silence offers a space to rediscover who we are. It reveals our true hopes, desires, and truths. This self-awareness strengthens us, making us less susceptible to external pressures and more confident in what feels right on a deeper level. Silence also enriches our relationships. In conversations, it creates room for real listening, helping us understand not just the words but the emotions behind them. By practicing silence, we foster empathy and compassion, deepening bonds and building trust. Moreover, silence allows us to detach from the need for external validation. It reminds us that our worth isn't tied to performance or others' approval. In stillness, we cultivate a quiet confidence, a resilience that doesn't rely on outside reinforcement to feel authentic. Creativity and insight also thrive in silence. Great ideas often emerge during moments of reflection, when the mind is free to wander and explore. This creative stillness equips us to approach challenges with fresh perspectives, uncovering possibilities that might remain hidden in the noise of daily life. Silence can also serve as self-protection, especially when faced with criticism or negativity. Not every challenge demands a response. By choosing silence, we preserve our dignity, communicating that our worth isn't up for debate. In moments of conflict, silence can be disarming. It diffuses tension, allowing us to respond with composure rather than defensiveness. In this way, silence fosters peace and self-control, qualities that strengthen our ability to navigate turbulent situations. On a spiritual level, silence connects us to something greater than ourselves. Whether through meditation, prayer, or simply being present in nature, silence offers profound clarity. It grounds us in the moment, helping us approach life with gratitude and purpose. In a noisy, fast-paced world, choosing silence becomes a radical act of self-care. It protects our mental clarity and emotional well-being, enabling us to recharge and refocus on what truly matters. Silence is not a retreat, but a preparation for life, a space where we gather strength, realign our energy, and reconnect with our purpose. It teaches us resilience that doesn't depend on external circumstances but emanates from within. Living in alignment with your values is one of the most powerful ways to create a fulfilling, meaningful life. Values serve as an inner compass, shaping decisions, guiding actions, and influencing relationships. When we honor our values, we experience integrity, purpose, and satisfaction. However, living in alignment with our values isn't always easy. Societal, familial, or peer pressures can make it tempting to compromise what matters most to us. Yet straying from our values often leads to feelings of disconnection and dissatisfaction. The first step toward alignment is self-awareness, understanding what truly resonates with us. This requires deep reflection, questioning inherited beliefs, and identifying the principles that authentically guide our lives. Once we've defined our values, we must have the courage to uphold them. Saying no to situations or expectations that conflict with our beliefs can be challenging but is essential to maintaining integrity. By setting boundaries, we protect our energy and foster a life that aligns with who we truly are. Living by our values is also an exercise in resilience. It may require difficult decisions, such as leaving relationships, turning down opportunities, or standing alone. These choices, though tough, are deeply empowering. They affirm our commitment to authenticity and reinforce our belief in ourselves. When we live in alignment, our actions reflect our deepest beliefs, fostering genuine relationships and attracting experiences that resonate with our authentic selves. This alignment brings clarity, focus, and harmony, enabling us to navigate life's challenges with confidence and purpose. Ultimately, living in alignment with your values builds a foundation of integrity that sustains you through ups and downs. It's a continual practice, a commitment to live with intentionality and clarity. By staying true to what truly matters, we create a life filled with meaning, resilience, and inner peace.